thank you guys for joining here at Two Balls and a Mic. It's Tony and Chiva, and we actually have a great guest here, local from San Diego, comedian who is a diehard San Diego Padres fan. From what great hats I've seen, he has a good taste in hats. I actually have the same hat. Also, former San Diego Charger fan, as I am myself as well. Please welcome San Diegan Jono Zalay. How are you doing, Jono?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's good. I'm also a San Diego Gulls fan. Do those still exist?
They still exist.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to them once they tear down the sports arena?
That's a great question.
Yeah, no, I think they're like in remodeling, quote unquote. I forget which one won. There was other political things going on that kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I got so when the Chargers were threatening to leave San Diego, I got real deep in the weeds of like local environmental authorities on like, the environmental impact report of stadium constructions, all the minutia. I was like, come on, some sort of law to make them stay.
It's heartbreaking, man. It really is. And again, obviously, what part of San Diego are you from, man?
I'm from Point Loma.
Oh, Point Loma, nice. Ever check out Point Loma Seafoods?
Oh yeah, I love Point Loma Seafood.
Actually, Point Loma Seafoods smoked tuna jerky has got us in with Bert Kreischer, Dave, and it just completely revolutionized their mind. It's one of the best things ever. You still have yet to have it.
I still need to try it, man. I'm fucking waiting.
I have a tough time with smoked fish, but like if anyone's going to do it well, it's going to be Point Loma Seafoods. They don't miss.
Yeah, 100%. Fun fact: I used to be a salesman, a fish hole salesman, and they used to be there at 6 a.m. to hand pick every single whole fish at a discount. So, and then they fillet it in the back. Anyway, but yeah, how have you been doing as a former San Diego Charger fan, so many years removed? How's your relationship with the NFL in general?
Oh yeah, well I like I was such a diehard Chargers fan, so like I was definitely crestfallen when they left, and I took it so well that I started a podcast with my friend Justin Halpern called "Fuck the Chargers." And it was our way of processing them leaving and just a real cathartic way to spread the hate towards the Spanos family and their management of the team. Nothing against the players individually themselves, but come on, that organization is rotten from the whole way down. I wish them nothing but losses. My favorite team now, like I was thinking about. I actually wanted to pitch like a show or project about like me trying to find a new team, because it's so hard. I mean, like it's hard to like being an NFL fan in general these days is pretty tough. Mm-hmm. Like with all the CTE stuff. Roger Goodell's a piece of crap. Can you guys swear on this?
Yes,
oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
fucking let it go, bro.
Yeah, go for it.
yeah. The Spanoses are greedy motherfuckers who are incompetent and lazy. They're entitled. So like the whole thing, it was like a tough sell for thing, but I do love football. I love watching the NFL. I play fantasy football still. So like my favorite team now is whoever's playing the Chargers and then whoever is on my fantasy team. No Chargers. That's my run. The one rule. I used to be no Raiders on my teams. Now it's no Chargers.
I love it. Even if that name is now Justin Herbert, who is just
God, he's lighting up. I'm so mad that he like turned out to be good. I was like, so ready for him to be a big bust, like a Ryan Leaf level.
Yes,
because like they're so bad at drafting in general. They've blown it every time, and like every time they've had an early draft pick, it's so sad that he's actually pretty good with his dumb pimple face. looks like a high school bully.
Yeah, he does. So
frustrating.
Is there any chance that any team in the NFL, maybe not now, but maybe in the future, will gain your support?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, like, I'd be open to it. I tend to like gravitate towards like a team within a division. Like in the NFC North, I'd go towards the Packers because they're owned by the city, very like historic team. AFC East, I go with the Bills because like they're like I go for mostly like aside from the Packers, I go for like the kind of hard luck teams because that's what it feels natural to me as a former Chargers fan.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like the Browns in the AFC North and like the Bills of the AFC East, those kind of teams. So yeah, like I was thinking about getting into the Colts because Rivers is on the Colts now, but it's so hard to root for the Colts. I mean, just so many years of hating them intensely when they had Peyton Manning. it's pretty tough.
Visually a great matchup those years with white San Diego Charger jerseys with that deep blue Colt. It's just visually appealing. 17 versus 18. Great matchups, man.
It was great. Yeah, those are the years. Those were the one team that we could beat in the playoffs was the Colts in those years, the Phillip River era. But yeah.
Let me just say that's a great idea for a show, and if you need a number 2, I can also join there because I actually found a team. Oddly enough, so they were the Spanos, being the pieces of shit that they are. They kept threatening, "Oh, we might leave, guys. There's a chance we might leave." Foolishly enough, us loving Charger fans are like, "Don't." They're just saying that, like they're not really gonna leave.
Right.
Lo and behold, they ended up leaving, whatnot. So there was that time where we're like, what are they going to do? Is they're actually going to leave? So I started like moving the gears. I'm like, all right, I can't root for anybody in the AFC West. I've been saying, fuck the Raiders, fuck the Ponies. The Chiefs can go fuck themselves. Those LT versus LJ Sunday Night Football games are great because LT won every single time. So, I went division from division. I was like, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I remember Troy Polamalu doing that pick in the snow with his fingertips.
That was like one of the most amazing plays I've ever seen. It's sad that it sealed our fate.
Exactly. And I'm like, no, I can't root for that. But I ended up in with the Eagles. And if you remember when the San Diego Chargers left, it was the season before the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I love that. I actually saw that Super Bowl in Scotland of all places.
Oh wow. Oh.
And yeah, it was really fun to watch because obviously everyone hates the Patriots, as they should. They're evil. They're one of my, other than the Chargers, least favorite team. I lived in Boston for a while too, so I would like really get it from all the Pats fans over there, smug assholes. But yeah, that was a great year to root for the Eagles. So they were like good, and then they had the backup come in with Foles to seal the win.
And see, they weren't supposed to win the Super Bowl is the thing. Like I went in with the Eagles saying, look, I love watching McNabb, T.O., black jerseys in the snow here in San Diego where there's no snow and it's 10 a.m. You're like, wow, there's snow in Philadelphia and they're playing. Great style. Their fans are bitter as hell. I'm bitter as hell at the NFL. It was just a natural fit. So here's my pitch. Here's my olive branch. And at the time they had Darren Sproles. So, I mean.
Oh, right. Yeah, Sproles. He was one of my favorites. Him and Woodhead were like, I always loved the shifty halfback in that role. It's so good. I love Sproles.
I heard, speaking of Woodhead, I doing research, I heard that you were actually there for Woodhead's injury. Or a injury, or one of the injuries you're known to be there.
I think I watched him when they were playing in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. I was there for, I think he broke his leg or something. It was yeah. I mean, he's such a tough player, and to see him get injured was like really devastating. But that was one of the many lost seasons and one of the of the Chargers. So it's the story of the Spanos organization at whole. It's just failing down and losing players when you need them most. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I'm not even going to pitch you my favorite team for you to root for because I know you probably won't even consider it being rooting for anyone in LA. So
you're a Rams fan.
Yeah, I'm a Rams fan.
Disgusting.
I mean, that's the thing is like I kind of like that since moving to LA, the Rams have already been to a Super Bowl. Like, the more that the Rams succeed, and it's just more, they're winning more fans away from what could be Chargers fans in LA. Cause it's already a natural fit. Cause like the Rams had such more of a, LA legacy that they would have legacy fans, but like they've been a better team since they've moved. And it's awesome because like, I don't like the Rams cause I also hate Stan Kroenke for like, fucking over St. Louis. And like, he unfortunately also owns Arsenal, who's my, Premier League team.
Wait. Arsenal?
Guys, all right. Thank you for joining
you guys.
us. Jono, you've been great.
Oh, man.
Yikes. I mean,
who are you guys?
I mean, we got Chelsea.
Okay.
I don't know if you're a San Diego Loyal fan. I don't know if you've been keeping up with how that's going.
I actually do. I wanted to ask you guys about soccer because like when is San Diego getting an MLS team? I know they have like a minor league team or what have you, but like when do they get it? I know Soccer City failed, but like is the San Diego State property, are they going to build an MLS stadium?
So they had a plan to build a stadium that didn't go through. They're still thinking of what to do for a stadium. I think so far for next season, they're probably going to still be at Torero Stadium. So San Diego Loyal is a USL team, which is just a tier below the MLS. Yeah. And their goal eventually is to move up to the MLS.
But so just move that team up. Like,
yeah, that's the goal for the team, but it'll honestly take maybe a couple years for
4 years, yeah.
They're on the right path. Especially since the MLS is expanding and they're looking to adding more teams every year.
Yeah.
Right, which is great. I love that. I went to a LAFC game because I live up in LA right now. And boy, that stadium is awesome.
Dope atmosphere, huh?
Yeah, it's really great atmosphere. They have a really cool fan base. Like the whole in-game experience is fantastic. So yeah, I'm kind of like holding off jumping on the LAFC bandwagon, waiting for a San Diego team so I can like kind of jump on that. But I don't know. It's pretty cool. The LAFC is pretty good.
Yeah, and that's a weird position to be in just because you are there and it's like now and not even now. And it's a really good atmosphere, really good team.
And they're a good team. Yeah, players.
Look, San Diego Loyal. Look at the name, right? Loyal.
Yeah.
They and we've had conversations with brass up there, and that was very intentional. And I feel again, as somebody who was hurt by a professional team, the loyalty moniker, it has some weight to it, and it has Landon Donovan, greatest soccer player in the United States. Purveyor of my nightmares as a Mexican fan. But he won me over. The whole organization has won me over. There's also a 1904 FC who's owned by Eden Hazard and Den Maba. Excuse me. So that's on a different tier of league who, hopefully aspire to the same thing. So soccer wise here in San Diego, I don't know when was the last time up. You were here, but Soccer City was one thing, but from the ashes of Soccer City came San Diego Loyal, and even 1904, who was one of the last professional teams to play at was formerly known as Qualcomm Stadium, along with this San Diego Fleet AAF team.
Yeah, I think the dope thing about San Diego Loyal is just how much they love the city and the people. They're dedicated to the people, and they've said they've told us they're here to stay. They're not going to move away anywhere, and I think that's what convinced me and Tony to kind of become fans of that team.
Nice, yeah. I mean, like the idea. I mean, of course, that's like I said, built into the name. I like it. I like it when a team actually has kind of a name rather than just FC.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a lost opportunity. It's like, yeah, you're the football club of the city, but like have a personality. Like a big gun, like Arsenal. Boo, 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 boo.
I only keep this just as a ball wipe sometimes. Little Arsenal hat there. How did you end up at Arsenal, man? I mean,
it's funny. Like so my mom went on a trip to the UK like several years ago. I want to say like 7 or so years ago, and like I was just getting into professional soccer on a grander scheme than just local MLS news that like, well, we might eventually get a team. So like I've always loved the World Cup, been a big fan of like soccer, and I wanted to get more into it. And so I was like, she asked me like when she was over there, it was like, oh, do you want me to get anything for you? And I was like, pick a soccer scarf. Like just randomly pick a soccer scarf, any team but Man U, and
love it.
And that will be my team going forward. And she just found the Arsenal one, and it was just that random.
Why so much hate for Man U, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I mean, they're the evil empire. Come on, you can't like be a baseball fan and pick the Yankees. It's
exactly.
I'm pretty new to baseball, but I've heard that the Dodgers are the best team.
All right, he's from LA, right? All right, so
that's what I've heard.
All right. 2021's our year, Padres.
That's exactly what we say. 2021, guys. Hopefully, I don't even know at this point.
Do you want to hear the like? Obviously, this year we couldn't go to any games in person for baseball, but in 2019, I had a benefit show for the Padres, and it was the worst show I've ever done in all of my comedy career. I've been a stand-up comic for over 10 years. Mm-hmm. And like there's like a there's a type of shows that are always bad. I call them the 3 C's. They're like cruise ships, colleges, corporate events. Mm-hmm. And one thing they all have in common is that no one is there because they like comedy. It's always a hostage situation, like your boss or your RA is making you go. But like the good part is that they pay well. Like all of those shows, like you'll eat your dick, but I'll eat my dick for an hour if it'll pay my rent for 2 months.
100%.
Fuck yeah.
So those are the good deals. The tragedy is there's a fourth C kind of show that and it's downright evil, honestly, and that's charity events.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
It's counterintuitive, right? Because
Yeah.
like you're thinking for a good cause, but has all the same bad qualities of like a corporate event, except you're expected to perform for free because you hate lupus or whatever it is there is
Damn.
for it. So like you're just going to eat your dick for your own contribution to society, I guess, which I get. And like, so there's this Kirby Yates, who was like the one all-star we had in 2019.
Absolutely. Who was
he's
injured
great.
most of the best year that
I
we
know,
had.
sad,
Jeez.
because he could have definitely contributed to that run. And hopefully, is he free agent this year?
I think we have him for one more year. Where maybe actually. Oh God. I don't
If he
even
gets
think
back.
about it.
Yeah, he's great. He's a good dude. And so his wife, who suffers from epilepsy, she had a charity event it was called Striking Out Epilepsy. And so myself, do you know Dallas McLaughlin?
Yes.
Yeah. So like he's also a big San Diego sports guy. We're both comics. We were in San Diego at the time. They said like, hey, come do this show for the Padres and at this local comedy club, and you'll get to go have like press access to a game, see batting practice, that kind of thing, attend a game. And I was like, sure, I'll bomb for 20 minutes or something like that and get to see a free game. And then like I get a call from like the club owner like that day it's saying like, oh, by the way, you also have to do 50 minutes, not 20, and you have to write roast jokes for all the Padres in attendance. And I was like, oh my God,
no.
now this free gig has homework. That's wonderful. So I spent the whole game writing jokes about the Padres. And so I get to the event, like miraculously, somehow it's going well. Like Dallas goes on first. He does his time. It's going well. And then in the middle, in the intermission, they have an auction. All these, things are raffling off so they can raise money for this, very noble event, for noble cause, whatever. But during the raffle, Will Myers, who, as we know, is the third highest paid Padre,
Absolutely,
making $83 million on his contract, he's somehow something was dehydrated. He passes out, hits his head on the way down. You can Google, there's a news story about that.
Yeah.
So he's knocked unconscious 10 feet from stage during the raffle, like 2 minutes before I'm supposed to go on stage. No. I thought at that point, all right, show's over. Like we're losing one of our highest paid players to injury and potentially head trauma. Like let's call this thing off. Like you guys can sell this jersey; it's worth a lot more now. And all this stuff. But instead, the host of the event says, "We're going to power through the raffle."
Oh, wow.
To get to your final performer, which is me. So like they're carrying Will Myers into the green room at this point, which is in front of it, like right next to the stage. Everyone can see this. But as they're carrying him into the green room, like kind of over their shoulder, he like head tilts back. He's in and out of consciousness. He starts choking on his tongue.
Oh no.
So it sounds like he's dying. They have to lay him down so he can catch his breath in front of the door. And that is when they called me on stage. So I literally had to step over Will Myers to get onto stage. I just looked down and I'm like, sorry, dude. And I actually handed him my water as I walked on stage. And like, oh man, I was like greeted, like it was a packed house, by the way. All the best Padres were there. Everyone except for Fernando Tatis Jr. was there. Machado was there. Hosmer was there. Good on stage to like 350 pairs of like terrified eyes. And they just wanted to know that their teammate and baseball player they were a fan of was alive and like going to be fine. And I'll tell you one thing they didn't want to hear was mean jokes about their team.
Was the first one about him?
What's up?
Was the first joke about him?
Oh, about Myers?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I had to break I wanted to test the tension. So like the first thing I said when he got on stage and like whatever was just like, oh, I don't know how much head trauma is worth, but I think Will Myers just won me my fantasy baseball league.
Shit.
and like I was expecting them to like be on board with that. Death, the sound of silence, just nothing.
No.
So like I had written all these mean jokes, like in good nature. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the team. There's something they're supposed to enjoy. And they're all dying a horrible death. I'm like slashing all these jokes from my set list. Like I'm going like for the like even the cheesiest, corniest, no one can be offended by jokes like, oh, this event's called striking out for epilepsy. I'm not surprised the Padres are in charge of it. They'll strike out for literally any reason.
Oh,
you know, that kind of like
Yeah.
corny,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
It should have
old
landed. It should have
stuff.
been fine.
Yeah, it's dying. Everything's dying.
So much for powering through.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I thought like I've bombed so many times as just a comedian. It's just a part of the process. Trial by fire, you know. I thought like I bombed in front of my parents. I bombed in front of like girlfriends. I bombed in front of every industry on like important audition nights. I'd say there's nothing worse though than bombing in front of the best players from your favorite team. What a nightmare. So the one joke I was like, all right, here's one thing that no one could possibly be offended by, because this is like, I think it was right around Veterans Day or something like that, like towards the end of the season, and they were wearing like their camo jerseys at the game today, and I was like, oh hey everyone, I actually went to the game today. Really cool. Although I did have to take a knee during the anthem to protest the military jerseys that the Padres wear. Am I right? Those things are ugly. And like I was expecting like, oh, everyone can appreciate the one universally acknowledged fact is that the military uniforms the Padres wear are hideous.
Yes.
There's a lady who stands up in the back of the room and says, hey, we like those uniforms and we support the troops and our team. And I like almost had a stroke at that point. And I was like, yeah, lady, I also support the team. That's why I'm performing for an hour for free in front of 350 people. And I was wearing this exact Padres shirt that I was wearing, by the way, from like, so like clearly this is from like the 04 era where they had like Phil Nevin and stuff. So like clearly I've been a fan of the team for a long time. And like, I like, you know, just keep going. It's brutal. And like, I probably should have given up at that point. But I was like thinking like, you know, why would I give up after sucking for 5 minutes when the Padres didn't give up and they've sucked for 20?
I like that team, Jono. Come on now.
Oh man.
But I mean, you're wearing 04 era merchandise over there. How do you feel about the new colors, old colors?
I love the new uniforms. I love the brown. Like I love that it's a throwback. I always thought it was like such a like sellout down the middle thing to go, you know, blue and gold or whatever. Like they had some good uniforms in that era over the last 20 years, but like I loved it when they were brown and yellow. I loved it when they were blue and orange, very distinct. You know, we're not just doing a knockoff version of the Dodgers. And so, yeah, like the brown unis are great. I actually I was excited for 2020. Actually, that was the final joke I tried. Was like, hey, I've been mean to the team, but you know, I actually have a lot of hope for, you know, the Padres going for, you know, going into the next season, because like we have, you know, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., two very promising Dominican players. So like, yeah, Padres 2020, America 2020. It's the year we turn it all around. And I thought at the time, although it's no longer accurate, is like, although both weirdly the election and the Padres season will be determined by how many Latinos we let into America. And boy, that joke bombed so hard that I heard Eric Hosmer whisper in the back of the room, "That was actually pretty funny," which like was the only good feedback I got the entire night. So yeah, that was definitely the worst. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, halfway through the show, like I was finally starting to win them back with some normal jokes and not roast jokes, and the paramedics came through the audience as if to remind everyone, it's like, "Oh yeah, one of your players you're a fan of is dying in the green room." And they didn't even bring him out because, like, to show he was okay, because they didn't want to be another distraction, so they just had to assume he was dead in the back. Yeah, so that was the most brutal bomb I've ever had, and it was on behalf of the Padres, and now they've all seen me bomb, and they were so sorry. Like they came up to me afterward, like I was at a funeral. They're like, "I'm so sorry. We know you're funny, but you didn't deserve that because that was brutal." But it was also like my bad. I should have definitely never done roast jokes. I should have just done regular ones. But now I have a fun story of how I dug my own grave.
Next to what could have possibly been Will Myers' actual.
Yeah,
grave.
Exactly. Yeah, they could sell both of our jerseys for inflated price in adjacent graves.
Well, I don't think
goddamn Ford C, man.
I don't think I've said this here on the podcast, but like I try to get rid of Will Myers. Have I said this? So I don't know.
Other than like this last year, he did okay, but like other than that, he's like really underperformed his contract.
There's no pressure. The moment he said that East Coast Mexican food is better than West Coast Mexican food, he was dead to me during the All-Star game here in San Diego. No, you don't do that. But when
how could he possibly, like, what is he? He's got brainworms. That's why he collapsed.
Yeah. But and you should know, we have Dr. Jono Zalay. I don't know if you know. Absolutely. But no, he was fortnighting with I think it was not Greg Garcia, a couple of the guys that were here a couple of years ago. And he started talking shit about Andy Green and was like, "Why is Andy doing this and that? You know, it's September. He's making us do ground out drills and whatnot." I was watching it. I screen recorded and I send it over to my local Fox Sports radio station. I'm like, "Hey guys, that's 6 a.m. during the morning Zoom. I'm like, did you guys see this last night?" And they were like, "No." I'm like, "What? Is this real? Is this not?" Fast forward 6 hours later, it's on ESPN. Will Myers talks shit about Andy Green and
breaking news.
Breaking news.
You're the journalist watching Fortnite to ESPN. That's a great scoop.
Absolutely, and hopefully that was the push that got him to do what he did this season, and hopefully when there's people there, he'll be doing the same thing. I think that
you should take credit for his improved play.
Absolutely.
I certainly do. I think the prospect of hearing my jokes made him get himself right, and that's he collapsed, and he's only ever come out better.
San Diego needs to have a box for us, the Petco Park, just for you and I, just for saving the franchise.
Exactly, we're good luck charms in a way. Actually, really, that day was the same exact day that Andy Green got fired. Like they were like, that was the one thing they said was off limits. It was like, don't piss on a man's grave the day he got fired. So don't bring him up.
I guess we're all good luck charms because this is the first season I actually get into baseball.
Fuck, man.
And the Dodgers won the World Series.
Dude, all right.
So I like to take credit for that. You know?
I mean, if we're talking
about
bad luck, I was there when Albert Pujols drove a line drive into Jake Peavy or Chris Young's face. Can't remember, and knocked him out. I was like right behind first base, third row. Great tickets, and just to see that, I thought I also saw a man die. A San Diego Padre die in front of me.
Oh no.
But let me ask you, how do you navigate this? Because it's weird for me because I'm a San Diegan. I just lambast San Diego, the LA Chargers for breaking my heart and moving out to LA. How do you answer the question? Well, then why are you a Clippers fan? They moved too.
Oh, great question. That's true because I am a big Clippers fan.
I am also a Clippers fan on there too. So how do you do this, man?
Lakers fan.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It is a great moral quandary. It's not an easy one, and I will say that. Here's how I reconcile it. Like the Clippers moved to San Diego from Buffalo in like 1978, something like that. They left San Diego in '84. Donald Sterling, infamously the most racist, worst owner in sports for almost 3 decades, or over 3 decades, something like that. was hard to be a Clippers fan. Here's the thing: I wasn't a Clippers fan when Donald Sterling owned the team. So like I wasn't, because like partially because of Donald Sterling is like I have already, you know, the Chargers hadn't left yet. I was like I had enough trouble with a terrible owned, you know, franchise in San Diego with the Spanos family. So like I was living in Boston at the time. I didn't grow up with an NBA team because of Donald Sterling. He moved our team to Los Angeles for more money and drove the team to the ground. So like I wasn't growing up, I was not a Clippers fan, but I moved to the East Coast to go to grad school, and I lived in Boston at the time, the same year that like KG joined. They got Ray Allen to join Paul Pierce. So like there's that big three Celtics team, and I had forever hated the Lakers. I was never a Lakers fan. I like very generally have blanket rule, hate all A teams. So hated the Lakers, and it was such a natural rivalry with the Celtics and with Ray Allen and KG, who I was a fan of before they moved to the Boston market. So I was like, oh, great, I'll be a Celtics fan. And it was great several years in Boston with that team specifically. And then I moved from Boston to New York, and they broke up that team. And I was like, well, that was a good run, but I would love a more, you know, permanent relationship with an NBA team. I was always a big fan of Blake Griffin because, like, as a casual NBA fan, nothing's more exciting than just seeing dunks from, you know, as high as they can go. Just the monstrous dunks.
Lob City, man.
Yeah, and then DeAndre Jordan, also great note. So it was like that Lob City team was already very fun when Donald Sterling had a team, but I couldn't get over the fact that Donald Sterling was the owner. Yeah. And then when he finally got ousted in whatever it was, like 2014, something like that. So like by that time, Doc Rivers was the coach, who I loved from my Celtics days. And they had a couple of players. I always liked Chris Paul, and then when they moved to there, so like that fun team was fun to watch. They had a San Diego history, of course, and they just gotten rid of the worst owner in sports, and are now owned by Steve Ballmer, whom I kind of like as a wacky character, and is like of the insanely wealthy billionaires, he seems like the least evil. So, like those were the factors, and the fact that I was also moving to LA around the same time as well. So like all those converged into my Clippers fandom. And so the fact that it's no longer owned by the same ownership group that stole them from San Diego, timed with a few personal factors, that's how I got into my Clippers fandom.
That's fair enough, man. That clears 100% for me. Like, I mean, I don't like people to talk shit about other people's like fandoms or whatnot. I don't know about you, because you went from Oakland to Rams.
Okay,
so that just makes no sense.
No, relax. So I'm gonna have to explain, because that sounds bad. So growing up, I grew up in TJ, and my dad was a huge Raiders fan.
Oh, the TJ Tacos, yeah, dude, best NFL team, basketball team.
So my dad was a Raiders fan. I was never really into football, but I was like, okay, I'll like the Raiders because my dad likes the Raiders. And they were from LA at the time. Okay, right. I was born in LA. Raiders ended up leaving.
I still don't understand how you. Okay.
I didn't get into. I was not really into football until maybe like my senior year of high school.
Okay.
And
weren't you a kicker through high school?
Just my sophomore year.
Okay.
But I was more into soccer. And then fast forward, by the time the Rams moved to LA, I was like, look, a team in LA now. I'll start rooting for the Rams. They sucked their first year in LA, and they started getting better. They got Todd Gurley, started getting better.
And they sucked in the Super Bowl.
And they sucked in the Super Bowl.
Love it.
So I'm sticking with the Rams.
Well, I guess
until they leave.
There's that. But as far as the Clippers, man.
They also have Kawhi, San Diego State Aztec.
Yeah. What would it mean for you, like for the Clippers, if they decide, I don't know, let's just go back to San Diego?
I would love it. I actually tweeted that recently. It was just like because like there's a ton of bad press for the Clippers right now, which like obviously, and it's deserved because they blew another 3-1 lead in the playoffs, and like so they're saying like, oh, the teammates all resented Kawhi because he lived in San Diego and had to commute to the plane flights and everything like that. I was like, I think that the whole team should move to San Diego. That's my policy, just to make it easier for him. I mean, like I would love it if they won't, obviously they're building a new arena in Inglewood. So like they're going to be in LA for a while, which like I get. They've been in LA longer than any other city they've ever existed. So, Buffalo for a few years, San Diego for a few years. So they don't have like a huge LA legacy. They could also probably move to San Diego and not lose too many LA fans, because it's a similar thing like the Chargers. Even after decades of being in LA, the Clippers are not the predominant team or even like second tier team. Like they're so far down the line. I feel pretty unique in LA just even being a Clippers fan. So like they're going to try to build a bigger brand in Inglewood, and that's nice, I guess. Like I'd prefer them in San Diego, but like I'll take them here, I guess.
What about Paul George, man? Are you a fan of Paul George or?
I liked him as a player before he was on a team I had to root for.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was good, but then when I was like trying to count on him in the playoffs, and I was like, he's not shooting threes the way we paid him to. Like I didn't want them to cut bait on him that quickly after we gave up our entire, 10 years of draft picks or whatever it was, the Clippers gave up to get him. I think like he is a good enough and talented enough player like that he will rebound, and hopefully next year when they run it back almost the same team, like they'll have better success and gel a little bit more, and hopefully they won't be like that. I don't like that the lopsided teams too much that spend all this money on players and then don't care about anyone else on the team. So I do think they should get their chemistry issues straight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any locker room cancers, even if it is Kawhi, and I think that Kawhi is just a weird enough guy. He'll figure it out. He's won everywhere he went, so like I think he can and will figure it out in LA. I think that the rumors of their demise are overblown.
And it's like not like we just didn't just get rid of that cancer 6-man player of the year Montrezl Harrell and just said get out of here, go make the Lakers better.
Man, I loved Harrell so much.
The Lakers are rebuild. They rebuilt it really good.
I don't know. It was tough. I like Harrell and Williams. There's rumors that like both of them might leave now, like after Harrell left. And like, oh man, I love a good bench player that has that amount of energy and like clutch ability like that Williams had. So like it was tough to see him leave, especially to the Lakers, because like I do still. It's weird. Like I have to reconcile this as well. Like I hate the Lakers, but I love LeBron. And his greatness. So it's like I'm glad that LeBron won another championship, and hopefully he erases Michael Jordan from all of the record books. But I also don't like the Lakers winning, so it's a tough thing to watch.
For LeBron, I just love how he signed a 2-year contract again, which leaves him open in 2023 when the rule can change for the NBA to start drafting high school players again. Which in that year makes his son eligible to join the draft, possibly joining the NBA and maybe playing with his dad at 38. That'd be crazy to watch.
Oh man, that's like such a great plan. I'm sure he is trying to do that. Whatever team drafts Bronny, he'll go to it. Like that will probably actually increase Bronny's status, as if he wasn't maybe. I don't have to follow his career too much, but whenever Bronny goes, he probably will just go number 1 because they know that they're drafting LeBron James for a 1 or 2 year deal.
Probably.
I mean, that's fine and all. That's just one. It's Bronny. You have LeVar, who now has 1, not 2, but now has 3 children in the NBA.
That's crazy.
Explain that to us, John.
Oh
How is that happening? Help.
You guys hear me? I don't bring it out for a second. LeVar Ball, actually, like my favorite Twitter beef that Trump got in his entire presidency was with LeVar Ball. Remember that when was it LaMelo or someone was getting busted in China for stealing something? Yeah,
Leangelo.
Oh yeah. So they got into it, and like it was, I don't think it was out on Twitter or not, but like they got into a big beef or small beef, whatever it was. And like what was so funny about it is all of Trump's supporters wanted to back him up and attack LeVar Ball online. But they ended up attacking LeVar Burton of Reading Rainbow.
PBS legend.
Yeah, and like like obviously it sucks to be attacked online for any reason, but it must especially suck to be attacked online because they don't know how to read so good.
Everything LeVar stood for was
Yeah,
just getting
yeah.
thrown back right at him.
Imagine just waking up one day.
Dedicated his life to teaching people to read, and now he's getting attacked because they can't read. It's
Oh,
such
man.
sweet irony. I loved it.
Oh man, no, and that's one of the great storylines coming into this season. How did you enjoy quarantine sports? I mean, we're still here. We started the show the day after Kobe died, unfortunately.
Oh, geez. Wow,
So
what a time.
right, and then subsequently, sports died as well.
We were gonna start that day,
Yeah, I
and
know.
we're like, no, we can't start it. We can't start it
it
today.
would just be inappropriate to pretend to talk sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In such a day. But I mean, other than that, man, we've been here for what is it, 8 months, 9 months? I don't even know. But sports have come and gone. Some sports have come back again, or coming back again. How did you enjoy audienceless sports?
I mean, I loved that. What the NBA was so fun. The bubble season, like or whatever half season. I did see a couple Clippers games, and I think maybe in the Lakers game this year at Staples before they shut down. So that was fun, like to get a sense of like the experience and live and everything. But like the bubble games were great. Like the Suns went on that insane run, and still missed the playoffs, which sucked for them. But like, yeah, like all the bubble narratives. Like I even though I thought it was. Unfortunate that it happened to Clippers. It was very funny that I think it was Harold that went to a strip club in Atlanta or something, or it was Lou Williams.
Williams.
It was Lou Williams.
Lou
He had to get
Yeah,
his Lou Williams wings.
went to the
said he
strip club,
wanted-
and that's why
he
he
wanted to
couldn't
try
rejoin
some-
the team until the playoffs.
Yeah.
So funny. So yeah, like all the bubble NBA was great. The NFL has somehow plugged along, and I was never going to games anyway. So, and then like the baseball, I actually love the playoff format. Like they had to adjust the new rules for the obviously shortened season, and the idea that they'd expand the playoffs and like make it a little bit more competitive, like was fun. I love that, and like I obviously love going to games live, but for this, I think they did as good a job as you can to make the experience still fun and watchable in almost every instance.
Yeah. So, what's one thing you're looking forward to the next season? Maybe for any sport, baseball.
I mean, like
Basketball, anything.
seeing a game at Petco will be way up there because it's just like such a cool stadium, and like the team's going to be hopefully even better. And they have that like nice young core that's like hopefully going to have the championship window open for the next decade. I do also want to see I don't know when they're going to finish their stadium in Inglewood, but like I would love to see the Clippers hopefully bring it together as a team if the locker room can hold it. I think they will. So yeah, like it's kind of entering what could be a very golden era of my teams being competitive, and to see them live would be something I definitely prioritize. Like, it's a, if we come through this, like, I think we will.
I mean, hopefully Padres players stop getting stabbed outside of strip clubs.
God. Was it Pham who got
Tommy
stabbed?
Pham, yeah, who was, I don't even know, man. Like, it was like a Tuesday afternoon, night. I don't you're not supposed to be there. And I mean,
And they're in quarantine.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Crazy that there's been like such violence in America while we're all supposed to be staying at home. Tragic.
Oh, definitely.
So I don't think they'll give away free tickets for the Padres since they're actually going to be pretty decent next season.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, I know. That's the thing. That stadium was so empty for like 10 years after it opened, just because they couldn't put a winning team together.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Bartolo Colon hitting home runs off of you, you're not anybody to really be.
I wonder, like, do you guys have a theory on this? Like, I think the Padres started spending money on players and everything. Like, I think they had a new ownership group has come in as well. But like, once the Chargers left, they realized they had a golden opportunity of like, because I haven't paid attention to baseball in a long time when I was on the East Coast because it was just hard to catch games. But like, I got back into the Padres once the Chargers left because I was like my only option. And so like once they realized they had more captive eyes, they started spending money on Machado and like trading for Tatis and stuff.
Yeah, and it was actually the year that they spent on James Shields, Matt Kemp, who lost his twinkle in his eye for baseball here in San Diego. and then regained it next year when he left. But I think that was the first year that they started spending just to do exactly that. Like, look, we're the only thing in town at this point, so might as well,
put a good product out.
Exactly, and it failed year one, and then Bartolo Colon hit that home run off of James Shields, who got traded to the White Sox for Fernando Tatis. So eventually, we thank Bartolo and all my Mets fans that were there that day.
Yeah. It's part of the process.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully the process doesn't delay another year to 2022 because I am tired of the process.
Yeah, seriously. I got to actually go pee real quick. Do you want me to stop?
Yeah, no, for sure. You're good. 100%.
Right, be right back.
No worries.
We have the power of editing.
Yep.
I'm surprised I haven't. That was a lot of fud juice.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fud juice.
I'm proud of you. So are you going to take me to a game, actually?
Baseball game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. Down skis.
We fit on the seats?
Huh?
We fit on the seats?
No.
Oh, shit.
No. Actually, no. Like,
we're going to need 3?
When I go, I actually have to sit one seat aside with one seat in the middle.
Really?
Estamos gorditos. Yikes.
Vamos a comprar 4.
Oh. Standing seats?
Para las hamburguesas y todo.
Puppy. Oh, bro. Hodads there?
I've had whole dads.
I mean, no, but
TV.
there. I mean, they have it there everywhere. But
is it more expensive?
No, it's the same thing.
Nice.
Phil's Barbecue.
I have those hot dogs. The long ones. Oh, no.
All right, I'm back. What I miss?
All right. I mean,
I was just asking him if he's going to take me to a Padres game.
We don't fit in the seats. Like we have to go one seat, no seat, one seat. But I mean, it's
space for the nachos.
The tri-tip nachos are just to die for. There's a Hodad's there. The only place I get Phil's Barbecue really is at Padres games because I don't deal with the line. But yeah, it's I don't know. You guys have Chavez Ravine, but you guys have Dodger dogs. We'll keep Petco Park and our shitty teams
I've never gone to
with
Dodger
fantastic food. Like
I've only gone to like 2 Padres teams.
It's the Petco, like one thing in addition to being a beautiful stadium and now hopefully a good team, like they do have really good food.
100%.
Yeah, Dodgers just shovel out shit. Like it's terrible. Like those.
Yeah, shit food for shit people. I mean, what do you want?
Like I've always told Tony, I hate watching baseball on TV, but I've gone to games live, and I actually had good seats, and it's so much fun. Just because the players are so close that people shit talk to players all the time, and they actually hear you. It's amazing.
I mean, yeah.
For me, it's when we're in the nosebleeds and people are still shit talking, and I know they can't hear you, and they're still shit talking like they can hear.
Nice. I actually like my my second date with my girlfriend, who I now live with, was at a Dodgers game because she got free tickets through her work, and she almost didn't go on another date with me because the whole time I was so bored of the Dodgers, I kept texting the whole time and looking at my phone.
Man. But you know what? That it worked out, right? So far.
Yeah.
I have a quote here. It was actually something that you said, and I hope it brings back memories, positive or negative, however you want to see it. It says, clutch up. You can't hit anything when the pressure is on. I believe this was a baseball coach for you.
Yes, good pull. Yeah, so I played baseball in high school, and my JV coach, who's a legend, unfortunately he passed away a few years ago because he was a severe alcoholic. But we had lost like our first 6 games of the season my sophomore year of JV, and like he was so fed up with us that he sat us down in the locker room after our 6th loss and went around to every individual player and told them exactly why they sucked with very accurate specificity. And every single player remembers exactly what the coach said to them. I had just struck it out like 2 games in a row with the bases loaded. So he said, yeah, clutch up. You can't hit anything when the pressure's on. My friend James was like, can't field a regular clean ground ball or something like that. And then the worst was my friend who was the team manager, wasn't even playing for the thing. He was doing the scorekeeping, and he gets to him, realizes he has no baseball relevant role to shit on him for. So he just says, "You have terrible handwriting. I can't read the scorebook." Oh my God.
wow.
Just the dedication to making everyone in the room feel like shit was like, what a pure moment. And then weirdly, we all like came out of it and went on this insane winning streak and actually had a winning record for the season.
So it worked again.
It did.
Works.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to have an asshole coach to bring you all together, and it became a really fun year.
Sometimes it's borderline child abuse that gets you that extra win.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, anyway, that coach eventually got fired for being mean to students, moved to Hawaii, and drank himself to death.
Well, there we go. There you go, kids.
Rest
Wonderful
in peace,
lesson.
Jeff Hill.
But I mean, do you have any other, good, great, bad / I don't know, or again, borderline child abuse coach stories from your time growing up?
I will say, when I played high school football, for the same head coach, baseball and football, at my JV year, I was wide receiver, and I went across the middle and got knocked out, and then stayed in the game to play on defense and special teams. They called the same play, got knocked out again, and then I this is in '98, so like the CTE element of football had not quite hit the mainstream.
Yeah, no, walk it off.
So there's just like, yeah, you got your bell rung, go walk it off. And then like my senior year, one of the it was like the coach's first or second year as head coach, and he didn't realize that you couldn't have hitting drills that were like with players at full speed. So I was like starting wide receiver at the time, and I was going in like succession. He lost our starting corner, me was starting wide receiver, and our starting running back to concussions because all of us were running at full speed during a hitting drill.
Man.
So CTE, and I'm now in like a concussion study. I get like a call every year from people who like want to see how my brain is doing because hopefully I'm just a control subject because I didn't play in the NFL for 5 years or anything like that. But yeah, they check on my brain because of my coach's negligence.
Yikes.
That's funny. With you being a neurologist and all, do you have any issue watching football while players are getting CTE for our own entertainment?
Yeah,
live.
Of course. Yeah, like I still play fantasy football. I still watch games. And I think like it's one of those things where like I get a lot of enjoyment out of this whole beautiful game to witness, and at the same time, if I could ban it for life, I would. Like I think it's ethically immoral to continue a game that we know does severe damage to these players for the rest of their lives. Like I do hope that like they do figure out some new innovative helmet or some new way of playing. Like the more science they put into it, that could help reconcile it. But like there was even a time when like the NFL dedicated like $100 million to like research. And then like the first published study they had was like, yeah, it's real bad. And then they pulled the funding.
Yeah.
It's like, what, like it only hurting your own brand. Like when you're escalating like these attacks against science, like they hopefully could work together to solve this issue. Yeah, tough.
Wasn't those one of the like prominent test subjects, Junior Seau, in that too?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, he's already shot himself in the chest instead of the brain. It's like the players knew what was up. They their brains were scrambled, and you know that's the other thing is like the reason I was in that study was because it was run by Boston University, which is where I went to grad school for neuroscience. So like I was studying brains at the school that was like looking at athlete brains. Yeah, it's rough.
I mean, that's the reason why a lot of players are retiring so young.
Oh, totally.
I hope so, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, Andrew Luck is probably one of the reasons. Luke
Kuechly,
yeah. Man.
God, that's concussion central, bro.
Yeah.
Man, I know. Like, I saw that one play where he just, like, really got his bell rung and, like, was, like, crying or something afterwards. Like, man, get that man a retirement package immediately. Like, give him his golden watch. That's, like, no more helmets. You know. He was a great player, but you know, you got so many decades left that you're gonna struggle through.
Also, we're talking about concussions. I mean, making a little bit on the lighter side of concussions, I guess. Nate Robinson got knocked the fuck out. So,
yeah, the rare basketball concussion is when you get in the ring with a YouTuber and he's like 10 inches taller than you. Like, I don't think you can you can jump above someone to dunk on them, but you can't reach their chin if their fist is in your way.
Yeah, and he ran into that fist a couple times. Yeah. Actually, I think it should have been stopped. I watched it live, not legally, but I watched it live. And I was just starstruck by not starstruck, just awestruck by like the fact that this ref just kept going and letting him get out there. Like he was like, "Give me your hands." He's like, "These?" He's like, "Yeah, those. Let's go."
Shit. I'm dying because he said starstruck. I was like, "Oh, you're a Jake Paul fan."
Hey, man, Jake Paul, brother of Logan Paul, filming Dead Bodies. Great guys, fantastic.
Yeah. They should have told the refs "Show me your hands," because they're gonna get handcuffs. You're going to jail for aiding and abetting this man's concussion.
Jake Paul, who also looted a mall during a riot, so
very Jake Paul heavy right now. Wow, let's get out of this.
That's gonna be the thumbnail.
But we'll go ahead and start bringing it down. We do have a couple of quick fire, just questions. I'm wondering, probably an old school San Diego Charger fan, who's a better quarterback, Dan Fouts or Phillip Rivers?
Ooh, I'm as much as he's a ridiculous human being, I love Phillip Rivers. I would probably hate hanging out with him. I disagree with him on every social and political issue, but he's so fun to watch because of that. Yes. And he statistically, the numbers back out that he was probably better than Fouts, and neither of them won a Super Bowl. And none of I'm not putting any of the Chargers' lack of Super Bowls on Phillip Rivers because he played pretty well in playoff games. He never choked. He certainly has choked many times in his career. There's been some absolutely backbreaking pick sixes, embarrassing fumbles, all sorts of things that he's fucked up in his career. But he's been consistently good and never kept the Chargers from making that next step. And it was just weird coaching and bad team management that kind of cost that window for the Chargers not making the Super Bowl. So I'm going to say Phillip Rivers. He's flipping ready for it. He's got, the 10 kids he's got to feed with. Hopefully he'll make it in the Hall of Fame. I bet he's loving Indianapolis right now.
Oh yeah,
all the chain restaurants. He seems like he's a very middle America guy, so I'm sure he fucking loves Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, you can have free range children now, just out there.
Oh sure, yeah,
pasture. What was your favorite memory now that the Q is getting torn down actively right now? It's even being demolished and being auctioned off in certain places. What's one thing that if you can take from the Q and keep in your garage forever?
Ooh, good question. Man, the thing is, I always had terrible memories of when the Chargers played there. Every game I saw at the Q was just brutal. It was it was always week 17, they're playing the Terrell Pryor led Raiders. I think it's on a 3-13 season or something like that. So I think if I couldn't, I'm sure it's gone by now, but just part of the old Padres fence, the blue wall with the orange home run thing, because that's where I saw Kim and Nitty hit a home run in the playoffs. That's where I have the best memories of or actually, you know what? Aztecs football. I saw Marshall Faulk there.
Yes.
Back in the day, my dad had season tickets for the Marshall Faulk and George Jones years of Aztec football. I would love just some sort of old Aztecs logo. I know it's probably considered racist now when they're banned it and changed it and modified it. So for history and also ironic nod to their blindness to political correctness at the time. But yeah, some sort of Aztecs football thing from the mid 90s when Marshall Faulk played there. That'd be the thing I'd want to keep.
I love it.
All right. So normally we ask this question as one of our last questions, and it's a pretty important one. You have a golden ticket for any sporting event, any type of event that you wish you could have attended in the past, present.
Can't really
Not
do
gonna say future, yeah.
Yeah.
What sporting event or any event at all would you wish you could have been there live?
Oh man, this is so tough because none of my teams have ever won.
Right there with you, man. Right there with you. 98,
I
bro.
will say
Still
that,
hurts.
what's funny, I'll say this. Back in 1998, when the Padres made the World Series, I had tickets to Game 5. And they got swept in 4 games to the Yankees. So you know what? I'm going to say,
so sorry.
give me tickets to Game 1 of the Padres versus Yankees World Series at Yankee Stadium. That's when they still had a chance. They weren't down 3-0. Those games were all very competitive. People forgot, even though they got swept, that they were in every single game.
Yep.
And the Padres had a lot of hope. That was the glory years. Tony Gwynn, Ken Caminetti, juiced out of his mind. Greg Vaughn hitting dingers. That was my team. Give me Game 1, Yankee Stadium, 1998.
Nice.
I love it, man. For all we know, that never happened. 1998. I think the season ended after Game 1. Something happened.
Yeah.
That never happened, right?
I was
It's just
only-
lockdown.
I was only 1
lockout.
year old.
You were what?
I was only 1 year old.
Fuck off. Jeez.
Sorry. Sorry.
That made me feel like shit. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's how bad the Padres have been, that they're haven't made another World Series since you've been alive.
The best thing that we had was Khalil Green, and then he went insane at some point. Yeah, it's been a rough go as a Padres fan, but hey,
Yeah, Tatis now.
there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Tatis, he's our man. I'm so glad we have him for his rookie contract and beyond. Hopefully they'll lock him down forever. He's the most fun player in at least baseball, if not all sports. He's so fun.
And he seems happy here, so.
Yeah, love the guy. Sign him up. He's a great kid. Hopefully we'll get to meet him someday.
Hopefully.
But want to thank you, Jono, for your time. I want to let everybody know where they can find you.
I'm at Jono Zalay on all social media, Instagram, Twitter. That's all the ones. Not on Parler, probably won't go, but if I ever do, I'll be at Jono Zalay on everything.
I love it, Jono. If you can do us a favor and just stick around real quick, we'll wrap things up a bit. Jono Zalay, everybody. Thank you again.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.